even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
Hello, and welcome to the 420 Project podcast. I'm Sean.
I'm Erin.
And I'm Michael.
And this is episode number 13. So don't forget, you guys, check us out on iTunes, the 420 Project podcast. No worries. Go ahead, check it out.
G'day.
All right. So how has everyone's week been? What have we been up to?
Well, you know what I've been up to.
Oh, considering I live with you, I guess I know what we've been up to.
Yeah, but for the people of the podcast, yeah, we had nice lazy days, having lunch at home, then maybe going for a walk and just
Nice. Yeah, it's been really good weather.
Go to the park.
Last week, yeah.
It's easy to fly a kite, just nice and relaxing stuff.
Has been a good week
Yeah.
in terms of that. But I guess we'll head into Michael.
And what I did.
And what you did, yeah. Let's just ignore Michael.
Thanks for asking.
Just cut him off. Okay, we hear what Erin has to say,
Okay.
then I don't know.
Fucking. I don't,
See you later.
no one cares about. Michael's gone. All right.
I'm still here, guys.
Okay.
My week. So, yeah, pretty much just work. The usual. Serving customers.
Very nice.
Loving work, loving life.
Nice.
Actually had the staff party last night because we, if you know who
Did you
we
get
are,
up to much?
you'll know that we're open during the Christmas season. So yes, we have our staff party in January. So yeah, we got stoned.
Nice.
We drank, we laughed, we ate food. Next day had brekkie, amazing. We actually stole the coffee machine from work. This like V60 machine,
Wow.
and we made like cafe quality coffee.
Oh, nice.
Because, why not?
Yeah.
It was fucking mint. Had a
Nice.
massive headache in the morning, smashed 2 Panadols. Or Nurofen, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, went bowling.
Did
Then
you get a
went
good
back on
score in the
actual-
bowling? or-
Yeah, we came first, our team.
Oh, nice.
So it was,
Very good.
It was 5v5.
Did you have the
We
bumpers?
smashed them. No.
Oh,
That was
that's
all
my
right.
man. Yeah.
Like, I got to admit, my first couple were a bit rusty, but yeah.
That's really good.
Got back into the swing of it.
You are fake news.
Something I saw on Facebook today
Okay. What did it?
was
You're going to tell us.
yes. So I found out that it's an NBN installer is sentenced for stealing nude pictures of his customers.
Wow. So the NBN, for those who don't know, is the National Broadband Network, which has been currently installed around Australia, which is taking forever. So you're saying that someone who was in charge of installing the cables stole people's pictures.
Yeah. So it was a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
And he would. Oh, sorry, I need some water. Sorry.
How would you get, nude pictures? That's odd.
That's weird.
So he would abuse the woman's trust by going over to their house, coming in saying, I'm an NBN installer.
Yep.
And asked to use the Wi-Fi and use their phone to sign into it to make sure that everything's working.
Right.
And go in to their photos and send everything to
Him.
him. And then delete the evidence
Right.
before that, without them knowing.
So how do you
That's
get
really
caught?
weird. Jesus.
Do you maybe forget one? Or...
Do you forget to
It doesn't actually say
doesn't
anything
say, but
that I read in the article
that's
about
weird.
that.
That's a
but-
bit. You can having people like that coming over. There's a sense of trust. But was he just pretending that he was an installer,
Yeah, so
or was
he would have done his stuff or whatever, been in the
researched?
area, came in, like everyone was saying, make friends, hey, how's it going, I'll be here for whatever, to make sure, it's all up and running, be really friendly and whatnot, I just need to connect your phone and this and that. And it's as easy, as soon as that person gives the phone, it's I automatically trust you.
Yeah. But that's
Otherwise you wouldn't give it.
That's the thing though,
True.
why wouldn't it just be oh, here's your password, do you want to just use your phone and test the Wi-Fi that it's working?
Because you wouldn't expect someone like that to do that type of thing, but in this case, it has
well,
happened.
that's what has happened to us.
Yeah.
The guy was just oh, His your password if you want to just log in to make sure that it works.
Yeah, true. But like, if that guy came and was like, "Oh, you know, I'm installing this and it has to be, you know, installed on your phone," you could just bullshit out your ass to get a phone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if people believe it, otherwise people would be like, "Oh, I'd want to see." Like, he won't obviously do it. Just wait for people to fall for that, and then see what he can get. He's a victim.
No.
Sorry, he's not a victim.
He's a perpetrator.
That's exactly right.
I like Michael's points because for those who don't, because we haven't started filming our podcast yet, but Michael has taken the lenses out of his sunglasses, so he looks quite intelligent. Looks like a nerd.
Thank you.
And he looks quite funny, but he's making his point, and it just for some reason, Michael, it comes across really eloquently with those glasses.
I'll take that.
Yeah, please continue, Aaron. Yes.
So he got sentenced to a 16 months home detention.
Yep.
For transferring 82 private and sensitive images with 5 customers to his phone. Like 5 customers' photos to his phone.
Wow. Do you reckon it was like the phone company that was like, "Hey, what's going on here?"
That's
who
a
knows
weird
if
one. I
they-
think it'd be good if we knew more about it, because it's an interesting, sort of story to think how did he get them?
Yeah.
I mean, easily probably he just
As I was saying,
sent them to himself, but
pretend he's doing something on the phone. Quick scroll through like the photos, see anything you like.
boom,
You know, bang, done, delete. That's it.
wouldn't have known. But yeah, someone obviously must have figured out.
Well, some of the photos that he was taking were like women in lingerie, and then there was ones completely naked, and then also like one of them in like a video having sex.
Oh,
Wow.
so personal stuff that's on people's
Yeah.
phones. Yeah, I guess that can happen. Guess you just gotta delete them or put them on a hard disk or
Yeah.
something like that.
Was he actually like working for the NBN?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he had the trust. He had the actual trust.
The
of
funny
them.
thing is, this last bit that I read I thought was funny. So his lawyer was arguing for home detention instead of serving time in jail because the 25-year-old had already lost a $2,000 a week job.
Oh.
An NBA installer, like to be an NBA installer.
Wow.
So he's like, oh, well,
It should
I just
be a
lost
home
my job
detention.
that's $2,000 a week. I shouldn't have to serve time.
Fuck off.
Like, that's what it was.
I
It was
guess
like,
he isn't
what the
allowed
fuck?
out of the home though. He's not allowed out of the home.
You are fake news.
Have I told you that story with when I borrowed my work's credit card?
No.
How I fucked up?
Would you like me to
Quite
pack for
badly.
you a bomb?
I would love a bong actually.
Alright, well I'm going to have one while you tell the
It's
story
quite,
and
it's
then I'll
quite a
pack you
short
one.
story, so if you don't
I better
mind,
be
I'm going
quick.
to tell 2 in a row.
Go.
Cheeky.
Go.
So yeah, I managed to get the cafe's credit card because I was buying quite a few things for the cafe. It's part of my job. And then I accidentally kept it for about 2 months. But they had enough trust in me that they knew I had it, it's just next time we pass by, just give it back. And we just kept forgetting. And it came up to a point where I was at a cash register 2 months later and I was buying my usual shit, wine, mee goreng, because I love that shit, whatever. And as I was doing PayPass, I looked at the actual card and I was like, this is not my credit card.
Oh,
Shit.
How long have I actually been using this card for? Because I've bought quite a lot of
Shit.
stuff
Oh,
in
no.
the last 2 months.
Wow.
My heart sunk. I was like, oh God.
You've been
Because it was
using the
right at the
business
front
card.
at the wallet.
no.
So it was the first thing. And if I have my wallet, which I actually don't, they're both great cards. So they're really easy to mistaken. Anyway, I told, obviously, my managers, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Like, we can tell it was honest. You're coming up to me, we're not finding out ourselves. So they're cool. But, yeah.
Wow.
That was,
It's a funny little
I spent
mistake.
about $190 all up. so I have to pay that back, obviously. But
Yeah. At least they're cool about it. You're like, hey, I think I fucked up. That's a good idea.
Easy to happen.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Honest
Especially if
mistake.
they're the same sort of like card. Yeah. What was the second cool story?
The second
you had
one
for
was.
us?
Sorry, is that my bong coming?
Yeah.
Okay. The second one was not too far back. I made another mistake, and stupidly, I was sick around that time. I was on this like strong medication, and I forgot that I actually had some. So I took my 2 doses of this medication. I went to tennis, and I came back and felt like some wine. After I finished this bottle of wine, I went hysterical. I was like so high, I could not remember a single thing. I actually blacked out.
Wow.
I cannot remember anything for like the last 12 hours. Like that 12
Wow.
hours was wiped out of my memory. I was up for 12 hours.
Fuck.
Shit.
Like I was completely fucked. I was so high. I was like coke and every single drug under the sun.
Oh my
It was
god.
amazing.
That's unbelievable. That's
It was amazing.
That's
That's how I'm
amazing.
going to finish this.
You are fake news.
Do you know that there's a law in America that if you threaten the president's life, you go to prison? It's a felony.
Really?
Yeah. So if you're on Twitter, like I've seen people actually do this and say, fucking, I hope you die, I want to kill you. And people on replying to it saying, you realise that's a federal crime, threatening the president is a crime?
Right.
And people have
Wow.
actually like said, we're taking screenshots of this of your account, we're going to send it to the cops because, yeah, it's a crime.
Wow.
You're not allowed to threaten the president.
Damn.
I don't think you're not supposed to actually threaten anyone really.
Oh, you shouldn't. No. But yeah,
This can be like an offence.
Well, when I was in Germany, the first thing that I said was "Hail Hitler," and that's illegal.
You fucking. You such a.
Like
you
literally,
cunt.
literally, as we crossed the border, we were like, "So,
That's cute.
are we allowed to say Hail Hitler now?"
Yeah.
While we're on this train, this ice
Were
train.
you in like full with lots of other Germans?
Yes,
Did they
it
look
was-
at you and give
There
you
was a
evils?
lot of multicultural people.
Well, a lot of. Did they give you evils
I
or?
didn't say it that loud because
But-
like you
ah,
can
okay, that's
actually
alright.
get fined. But yeah, the first second we got there, we were like, "Hail Hitler!"
You fucking.
Like pointed to the.
You. I'd probably do the same.
You are fake news.
So we've got the Australian Open, which just started this week, which is the tennis competition, obviously, for those who are listening who don't know. And we I saw this on Twitter where we had Roger Federer playing in his game, and had a special guest presenter come up after he won, and have a chat to him. It was Will Ferrell.
Yes.
So I got a video here for us to have a watch of. It was just so random. I was just like, what's Will Ferrell doing in Melbourne?
Say hello to Roger Federer. In the immortal words of Ron Burgundy, it's great to be here with 2 tennis legends, Roger Federer and John McIntosh. Roger, tonight you seemed like a gazelle out there on the court. Would you describe your game as a silky gazelle?
Maybe. Maybe not. I guess don't they get eaten at the end?
Not if they're fast enough. Quick question, Roger. You're 36 years old. You seem ageless. Are you a witch or a vampire? Which
Well,
one's better?
Yeah, exactly. I don't like those.
Probably a vampire. Now, there's a rumor in the men's locker room that you love coming to play down here in Melbourne, and your secret to fitness is you only eat wombat meat. Is that true?
That is untrue.
Have you ever tasted wombat meat?
I have not. Should I?
It is delicious. The national food of Australia. I don't know how much this crowd means to you. They're an amazing crowd. But does it get annoying when they just scream, "Come on, Raja! Come on, Raja!" over and over again?
They remind me of my name. It's good at an older age you can start forgetting your own name sometimes. It's great.
Thank you, Roger. Wonderful match. Ladies and gentlemen, stay classy, Melbourne. You give it up for Will Ferrell and Roger Federer.
Oh, awesome. Funny. Bloody funny. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw it pop up on Twitter. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is Will Ferrell doing at the tennis in Melbourne of all fucking places? Like,
I was actually watching that last night, but I was too stoned down my head.
you're just like, what the fuck's going on?
At one point when he was like, "Come on, Roger," I was like,
Roger.
"What the fuck is going on?"
Come on, Roger.
You are fake news.
I said this last podcast we'd try as hard as we could to not talk about Donald Trump, but I
For
am
some reason,
afraid
this
Sean
big
just loves to
fuckhead
talk about
keeps popping
Donald
up. Who knows?
he's been in the news. He's gotten in a bit of trouble as he constantly opens his mouth and talks.
Yeah.
So, according to the New York Times, it's been reported that Donald Trump had his lawyer make a payment of $130,000 to pornographic film actress named...
Oh, we got a name. Can we see a photo? Preferably a porn
Yeah.
photo.
The actress is Stephanie Clifford. Yes. Her porn star name was something different though. Stormy Daniels, that's what it was. Look up that, Erin. Stormy Daniels.
No, I just did
you looked
Stephanie
up?
Clifford.
Yep. So this is, it'll be, yeah, there she is.
There we go.
So,
Looks like a prettier version of Dolly Parton.
yeah. So, in August of 2016, before the election, she was paid $130,000 by Donald Trump's lawyer to hush-hush about an affair she had with Donald Trump
Just like,
after meeting him at a celebrity golf tournament back in 2006. The one thing that this former porn star, Miss Clifford, could say about without breaking the non-disclosure agreement was, and I quote, and this is gonna maybe make you vomit in your mouth, she said, well, we went back to his hotel room, so just imagine Donald Trump chasing me around the room in his tighty-whities.
really?
That's all she could say without breaking the non-disclosure agreement.
Ew, yuck, I can't get that image out of my head. Ew.
Like with those little fingers.
Come here, I want you pussy. I'm gonna get you.
Grab your pussy.
Gonna grab your pussy.
Here's Trumpy.
You are fake news.
So it's funny when you were talking about the Australian Open before.
Yeah.
Because it's come to my realisation that Bernard Tomic is in the news again. Absolutely hates that person.
Yes. Have you seen this, Erin?
Erin doesn't actually know the cunt.
No.
But you will after this.
You will.
Yeah.
So he's an Aussie.
You will learn to hate him. You will learn to hate him.
Yeah.
He's an Aussie, right? He plays tennis. He's been in the Australian Open since, I think it was about 2010, 2000.
Yeah, he's been around for a while now.
Around that time, with
About
2 or
18.
3 years. So he's a young chap, and he's
26,
a
I think.
really fucking cocky, like just
Arrogant
person.
piece of
arrogant. So basically, when I first started hating him was back in 2012.
Yeah.
So what actually happened was he was in the Gold Coast after an Australian Open. The Australian Open had finished, so he went up to the Gold Coast to celebrate. So he was being a cock in his like $350,000 car.
Yeah.
Just getting tickets here and there. He got like $200-300 interventions or whatever.
I think I remember seeing that on the news.
You know what I mean?
Tickets, fines.
Yeah, fines.
Yeah.
Infringements.
Infringement. That's it.
Say.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just being a cock, and at one point he didn't stop for police.
Wasn't the car like too powerful? Like he wasn't supposed to have that car either.
Yes, because it was on his P plates as well at the time. And it was just
Fucking
showing
cock.
off in Queensland, and to the point where he was actually followed home by a cop, and he hid in his house because like he's thinking, I'm really rich, I don't get arrested, or I don't talk to police,
Yeah.
or this or that. He was just being a dick.
Did the cops stay outside for a while?
Yeah, and they gave him quite a big slap on the wrist. with cash.
Big talking
I think it
to and
was a
stuff.
$26,000 fine was his next one. So that was in, sorry, I got the date here somewhere. That was his next doing in 2007. He got a $20,000 fine for unsportsmanlike conduct in the Wimbledon defeat. So he lost.
I remember this.
And he just cracks it because he's like just this little rich kid that loses his mind all the
Didn't
time.
he blame Pat Rafter and stuff?
Something like
He blamed
that.
Tennis Australia and was having like a go at their coaching and shit. And I was like, it's not their coaching. You're just a shit cunt.
So yeah,
Maybe listen to him.
Find the maximum penalty of $20,000. So anyway, just recently he was in the news again.
Yeah.
So as anyone knows, the Australian Open has kicked in, as
Yeah.
we were saying before. And already Bernard Tomic hasn't actually made it in.
That's
he
right.
wasn't doing any good.
He did not qualify
So
to make the
what do you
tournament.
think the little baby kid did?
Oh, I don't know. What do you
He
reckon? What do you
cracked
reckon,
the
Aaron?
sheets again. So he was actually asked, as he was coming off court, how do you feel about losing today? And all he says is, all I do is count money. That's all I do. All I care about is money, and I'm
What a
just counting
douche.
my millions.
Oh,
And it's like, bro, like, you're so...
un-Australian.
It's not
He's
just
just
that.
turned
You're just a
everyone
big
off.
cock.
That's just too arrogant.
Seriously. Like, if I was that rich, I'd concentrate on what was making me rich, which in this case is tennis. Stop thinking about
He's
your
too
money.
arrogant. I saw
Continue
somebody
with your career.
who had a tweet about this saying like he acts like he's still in the top 50 because he was once in the top
Yeah,
50.
I think it was
He's
39
outside the
at
top
one stage.
150 now.
Yes.
He's outside that. So he's acting like top shit. He needs to stop acting so arrogant because the money for someone who's at that ranking means you won't go to tournaments which attract better pay and better prize money. They won't want you to come to your to their tournaments. You won't get invited as much until you start playing better. But he's just saying that he's only interested in the bloody money.
Yeah.
That's just someone who just doesn't care.
And like, if you go on YouTube, you can see a lot of like on-field tantrums. So like, when he's doing a rally and he loses, he just cracks it at himself. Like, he spends too much time thinking negatively. And he's just a big cock.
Yeah.
Plus, he's an ugly motherfucker.
Yeah.
I hate his face. If I ever see Bernard Tomic, and I swear to God, if you're listening now, take this as a warning. I will find you. And I will get you. Motherfucker. Drop you.
He always complains too.
And
He
doesn't
always argues with the
doesn't he
umpires.
always throw his racket or something?
Yeah, he does too. I find that so like,
Such a little baby.
yeah. Oh, I can't deal with the fact I'm losing.
Hang on,
I've got to smash my
I've
racket.
got the video of him
do it.
coming off the court just 4 days ago. So this is after Bernard Tomic loses. He gets asked about it.
Where are you going now? I just count money, that's all I do. I count my millions.
I count my millions. That's
What
all
a
I
cunt.
do.
What a prick.
What a sore loser. Like, seriously.
Dude, you didn't even make the Australian Open, and that's like the main thing as a tennis player is to make the Grand Slams.
You are fake news.
I heard he had a physical done recently, and it's apparently he's 6'3" and weighs 239 pounds. Now
That sounds like bullshit, Sean.
that he looks a lot heavier than 239 pounds. So at the moment, around on Twitter, there is a hashtag going around called #Girther,
Yeah.
which if you guys may or may not remember, for quite a long time, Donald Trump kept saying that Barack Obama was not born in America, and he kept
Right.
asking for his birth certificate, and it was called #Birther. So now they've fucking flipped it on him, and they're saying it's #Girther. We don't believe that you're this weight, because the weight that he is, and the height that he is, puts him in the overweight category.
Right.
But if he was 1 pound heavier, that would mean he was in the obese category on his body mass index scale.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of bullshit that he's 1 pound lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds really sus.
That's a bit.
You are fake news.
I gotta just remember this video that I got to show you, because there's this television series that they've made on the Comedy Central, I think, called Our Cartoon President. Yeah, here we are. Here we go.
Okay, let's see what we
In a
got.
time of civil and political unrest, one man works tirelessly to defend the American dream.
Fake news. Fake news. Fake weather.
This February,
I like this already.
cartoon president.
And then Ohio came in, and I was like, wow. And then they called Wisconsin, and Hillary called me to concede, and it was official.
Oh, no,
I had
watch it.
won the presidency. Do you want to hear it again?
Watch him grapple with difficult decisions.
Wartime, baby. Give me that nuclear football.
Feel the romance.
Oh, God.
Why are you looking at me? There's a TV in the room.
Meet the president's most trusted advisors.
Remember when everyone said you were the dumbest person in the world? Then we showed up on TV and they were like, we spoke too soon?
We could be your new spokesman.
His closest allies.
Woo, 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 woo.
Oh, looking at me like I'm crazy. I didn't start the woo-woos, did I?
His most formidable foes.
Just know you can't soften me up with a bunch of New York talk.
Of course not, Mr. President. We're not going to talk about New York.
What about it?
Empire State Building.
Hudson River.
Pizza. Train track. Central Park.
5.
And Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz!
The highest rated show of all time.
I love you, Dad.
I love me too!
From executive producer Stephen Colbert, our cartoon president.
With a show that funny, who needs affordable health care?
Not me.
I'm just glad Showtime's getting out of the smut business.
Oh my god, that looks so good.
You are fake news.
The other bit of news that also happened, which I'm sure we all heard about, in Hawaii.
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened? Do you remember?
We both said.
I want to have a break from talking for a
Fair
minute.
enough, okay.
I'm going to just
I can-
adjust
I can-
my
So if
myself.
you've been listening to the news lately, so the whole island of Hawaii was sent out a
Text message.
and it was also announced in like public PA systems.
Yeah.
So it was warning you of a missile attack.
Yep.
And to seek cover. And this is not a drill, so it was one of those
It's a
dead
good-
set serious.
Good way to wake up, eh?
Yeah, I know. Like
I
if
would
you were
shit my
asleep.
pants. Like,
What would we do if we got that, eh?
Well, I don't know because they said they didn't have a plan, but they were pretty close to almost evacuating Waikiki Island. But they had no plan. Anyway, so like basically what happened is they didn't know about it for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So the authority personnel who sent off the message and that whole, place did not know for 40 minutes and then come to the realization that, oh shit, we actually sent out the real one, it wasn't a test.
It wasn't the test one.
So
Fucked.
people there was no one killed in the panic or anything like that. Or
it's still pretty
anything like
disturbing
that,
and
but yeah.
upsetting to hear.
It kind of makes you think,
What would
as
you
well.
do in that situation? Like, if we had that, what would you do?
in that situation?
If I was at work, I would be like, I'm getting the fuck out of here and getting home to my family because I would, that was my time to go,
Yes.
I would want to be with Sean and Isabella,
Yeah.
so we're all
Yeah.
together.
Imagine if you bossed them the way it's like, no, we have to exit the building.
I'd be like, get out of the fucking way,
I'd
cunt.
just grab a knife
Move.
and be like, fucking cunt.
Can't, we're gonna die,
I'm like,
run.
I've got a
Die.
family, fuck off!
Don't make me kill you any sooner than you than
What about you,
I
Michael?
should.
How would you reckon? How do you reckon you would react?
Pretty much,
What would you do?
I don't know what I'd do. Like, if it was a missile attack, you'd kind of want to go underground, wouldn't you? That's the safest
But
option.
how? Where would you go?
Where would you go?
Could you dig your own hole kind of
No,
thing
you
per
wouldn't
se?
have
or-
enough time.
Storm drain.
You reckon?
That's what everyone says. That's what the people in Hawaii were doing. Actually, they were putting their kids in the storm drain.
Well, that's scary to
That's
be.
the best bet. That's your best bet.
Yeah.
Because you'll be underground. And you'll be semi-protected. Hopefully it's not a nuclear one, because then there'll be lots of radiation and you'll probably die anyway.
Yeah.
But
turn into
if
like-
it's just a normal sort of ballistic missile with no nuclear warhead,
Yeah.
you could like come out afterwards because everything would be destroyed. But
Wow.
there would be lots of stuff. So I'd like to think you would have this reaction. I got a video from a man from Hawaii, and this was his reaction when he found out he got the text message. So obviously, just wait for it to load here.
We're so fucking
the
behind.
power mode on. The power mode on.
Low power mode on, Sean.
We're just so behind with the internet.
Or just charge your fucking phone for once.
Your mum.
Your mum's mum.
Okay, here we go. He made this video for his family.
If you're watching this video, that means I didn't make it. Because of the missile that's coming towards Hawaii. I just parted the last hole, and I just hit the shiznick out of my ball. So, I love you all, but I'm playing golf. It's the last thing I'm gonna do.
Wow.
Could you imagine that, eh?
So
He's out there playing golf, and his video message to send to his family is, well, I just did a par on the last hole. I hit the absolute kashiznik out of the fucking ball.
it blew up the whole golf course.
But I'm going to keep playing, and I'm going to go out playing golf. Because he has no, like, I love that mentality. He just realizes I do not have enough time to get to my family or to get to safety. Oh well. That's a scary way of looking at it. Like, people can,
I suppose, yeah.
when they want to face death, or they face the humanity of it all, then they really start to think. And that's how some people can react to events from time to time.
Death situations.
Yeah, everyone's different, I suppose.
Fight or flight.
Exactly. So,
what would you do, Sean?
what would I do? I think I said before, like, about the storm drain thing. Like, if you're out and about, that's your best bet. Try and pry open one of the storm drains.
Yeah.
Call people quickly. If you can't call and get through to them, text. Maybe do what that guy did. Send it, make a little video, send it to a few people as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Because you probably got it minutes. And it might be the last time you get to say something to them. So you'd hope to do that. You'd hope that you'd be able to survive and everything like that. So, speaking of Hawaii having this false alarm, and 38 minutes later, they fixed it all and they figured out what was going on, and it was a mistake. So yesterday, Japan had a false missile alert too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, if you've seen the news, obviously, over the last year, we saw that North Korea has absolutely no problem with test firing missiles and firing them over Japan.
Yeah.
Because Japan signed a treaty back in World War II saying they would never start a war again and they would only ever defend themselves. So, because North Korea isn't firing at them and hitting them, they won't do anything, which is pretty scary.
I like Japan. I like that mentality. It's like, we'll only fucking retaliate if you start war. So
if you start it, we're going to come.
Still, I would like it. But yeah, I like the mentality.
Because they've had a few test fires and they got the message saying there is a missile. Take shelter, get underground and all that. So they had the same, they had the same false alarm, but they fixed it after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They figured out what was going on after 5 minutes, which was pretty remarkable. That in comparison to Hawaii, they were 38 minutes, whereas the Japanese were only 5 minutes, which is amazing.
You are fake news.
Alrighty guys, so if you liked what you heard today on the podcast, you can check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, or search the 420 Project on our Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. If you have any comments or want to say hello, send us an email at the 420projectpodcast@gmail.com.
So from all of us here at the 420 Project Podcast, I'm Sean.
I'm Erin.
And I'm Michael.
And that was episode number 13. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.
You are fake news.